All right, so I saw this video this lady put up about don't go to Atlanta. She's like, don't live in Atlanta. I listened to it. It was like 15 minutes long. And she made some valid points. Now, I wanted to say that I used to live in Atlanta. I didn't grow up there. I basically went to Alabama. And when I was old, I started college when I was in my older 20s. I dated a young lady. We had a child. She resided in Atlanta. So I went down there to live closer to my baby girl. But I was only down there for a year. It just didn't work out for me. I'm from Ohio, Pittsburgh area. Grew up in Pittsburgh, born in Ohio. I'm going to tell you what I know about Atlanta. Now, this has been some, I don't know, 10, 15 years when I've been down there. But I had to go down there a lot because I had to see my little girl. And I lived there for a year. One, the rent is higher. It's higher than where I live here. So it's more competitive. Two, I had to have two jobs to keep up, you know. And it's hard to find a regular job down there. So she mentioned that, and she's correct. There's a lot of people from Atlanta that are not from there, or excuse me, a lot of people in Atlanta that are not from there. Now, and they're all looking for something better. Now she's talking about people wanting to meet Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry wasn't doing his thing when I was living down there. But I never went down there for the aspiration of meeting somebody big. I wasn't really in the show business that tough. I did go down there and try to get into some acting classes, but that was it. I wanted my whole thing was I wanted to be a movie extra. I did it here in Ohio, and I'm still gonna do it one of these days. After I graduate, I'm gonna go somewhere, and I've always told me that's on my bucket list. I want to be an extra in a major movie, and that's what I'm gonna do. So now, as far as dating in Atlanta, I went to a couple clubs. I didn't really date. I didn't date anybody. I was still dating people who lived here in Ohio. They would come see me, but I didn't try to date anybody in Atlanta. It was weird to me. Like she said, the people in Atlanta aren't friendly. They are not. They're not friendly. I'm telling you that right now. They're not very friendly. And you think people from the country, they have a reputation of being friendly, especially people from the South. You're like, Southern people are very friendly. Not always so. Because when you go down there and you go into like zone six, and you start messing around in those places, it's very, very ghetto. It's very hood. And there's a couple other zones down there. It's very hood. So when you go down there, you're just like, you thinking it's going to be like Southern hospitality. You're not, you're going to get met up with some resistance. It's going to be, it's not going to be good. You're going to be, hey, how you doing? They're just going to be looking at you cross-eyed, because it's a very competitive atmosphere. There's a lot of poor people in Atlanta. You can see the big difference between the poor and the rich. There's a lot of hood people in Atlanta. I mean, and they want it to be hood. Like they want to be aggressive towards other black people. And that's the biggest problem with the ATL. Now, like nowadays, I couldn't even fathom living in Atlanta. If I did, it'd be on the outskirts and I would never like go into the city and do anything. Because back then, like I said, I would go to a club every now and then. And I didn't have a bad time at a club. Met a young chick named Sunny. She was very nice, but I didn't go out with her or anything. She danced with me, and that was it. Uh, I stayed to myself. I didn't have a vehicle. Uh, I just stayed to myself. So I didn't really want to date. I wanted to concentrate on work and my daughter, and I had other interests. Like I said, young ladies I was dating here. Uh, But I'm gonna tell you something, especially you guys. When I went to Atlanta, I was in a state of shock when I saw how many women and different colors and nationalities of women are in Atlanta. It blew my whole wig back. I was just like, oh my God. And like the movie Drumline was out. So that tells you when I was living there. And I went to see the movie Drumline. And I went by myself. I went everywhere by myself. And the seat here, and all the way down was nothing but women. From teenage to older women. It was just gorgeous women from all over the world. It really, really was. It's like a UN let out or something in there. But I stopped one guy who was working at the Foot Locker, and he saw me looking around like, there's so many gorgeous women here. I said, how do you handle this? And he looked at me. He said, you choose one. So there's that. Now I was when I was in Atlanta. I was a friend came to visit me in Atlanta, and I had a black bandana in my back pocket. And a young lady in the mall, she said, "Are you in a gang?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, that black bandana hanging out your back pocket means something. If somebody comes and snatches it out, you have to kill them." So I never did that again. I was like, what in the blue blazes? I took that thing out of my pocket so fast. I was like, nope, not having that today. I'm not about that life. I'm not a gangster. So you have that type of aggression down there big time. I'm not about that life. I tell anybody in a heartbeat. Me, don't come to me with that. I'm a regular, what they call them, lame, square. That's exactly what I am. I'm a square ass dude. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I am a square. I'm a square ass dude, and I'm okay. So the dating scene really wasn't me. I wasn't really a socialite. But hey, but you got to be careful when you live in an ATL. I'm just telling you now. So if you guys plan on moving down there, be careful because listen, this is when I watch TV. I don't watch TV anymore. When I had a TV, I would turn on the news, and I like to keep up with the news. When I watched the news in Atlanta, the news was like a horror movie. Like there were people doing all kind of crimes that I didn't think black people did, and it was black people doing it. It's like a whole hour segment of black people news and just all craziness. Like these, and right down the street from me, like these two teens, three of them, walked into a store and walked into the store. When they walked in, for one, it was a gun store. Now I had been in the same store because I wanted to look at some Smith and Wessons. I had been in the same doggone store, so I knew what they were talking about. They walked into this store. Two of them whipped out the jammy and tried to hold up the guy who runs the store. Did they not think that this dude had a gun on him when it's a gun store? That dude pulled that gun out and he shot two of them. He killed one. The other one was seriously wounded, made it to the hospital. I don't know if he lived or not after, the news. And the third one was a female. She was the driver. So the other two went to jail and one dead. And they were 17 and under. You can move to Atlanta if you want to. But when you got teenagers doing that right there, it's a whole nother level. I mean, what I had to do is I stopped watching TV. I stopped watching the news. I don't even watch TV now. I don't even have one. I literally stopped watching the news. I was like, I'm done. Because there was nothing good on the news. I was like, how is there nothing, not one thing to celebrate black people, not one thing beautiful to be told, not nothing. And I mean, when I tell you it's dog eat dog down there, it really is. Like, you're just a number down there. You're just a waste of air to me down there. If you want to go down there and visit, visit. Get in there and get out. If you're going to live on the outskirts of Atlanta, yeah, they got some boroughs and out there.